Audiobooks for Everyone presents Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. Full book summary. The story begins at the Admiral Benbow Inn, where young Jim Hawkins lives with his parents. One day, an old, weathered pirate named Billy Bones arrives, renting a room. Billy is a former crew member of the notorious pirate Captain Flint, and he has a treasure map that he keeps hidden. He's constantly paranoid that other pirates are after him, especially Blind Pew, a scary, blind man who arrives at the inn one day, demanding the map. Billy Bones is frightened to death, and after a confrontation, he dies from a stroke, leaving Jim with the map. Jim, his mother, and their doctor, Dr. Livesey, and the local squire, Squire Trelawney, decide to investigate. The map appears to lead to a treasure buried on a remote island, and the group plans to go after it. With Squire Trelawney's backing, they secure a ship, the Hispaniola, and hire a crew. Jim joins the expedition as a cabin boy, excited for the adventure. On board the ship, Jim meets Long John Silver, the cook, who is a friendly and charismatic man with a parrot named Captain Flint, named after the infamous pirate captain. Jim quickly bonds with Silver, though he soon notices something strange about the ship's crew. Some of the sailors, including Silver, act as though they know each other well, and their behavior seems suspicious. Jim doesn't yet realize it, but many of the crew are pirates, and they're planning a mutiny to claim the treasure for themselves. As the ship sails toward Treasure Island, Jim spends time on deck and befriends the ship's officers, Dr. Livesey and Squire Trelawney, but he remains uneasy about Silver and the rest of the crew. One night, while spying on the pirates, Jim overhears a conversation in which Silver reveals his true intentions. Silver and the other pirates plan to take the treasure for themselves, and they intend to mutiny once the island is reached. With this knowledge, Jim warns Dr. Livesey and the squire. The group now knows they have to prepare for a fight against the pirates once they land on the island. As the Hispaniola approaches the island, Silver and his gang begin to make their move. The mutiny is inevitable. When they arrive at Treasure Island, Jim and his companions start searching for the treasure. They are wary of the pirates, who secretly plan to kill the loyal crew and claim the riches. Jim, despite his fear, decides to explore the island on his own. He discovers a hidden cache of food and supplies, as well as a mysterious stockade, a fortified place where the pirates have been hiding. As tensions rise, Jim grows bolder. He sneaks away from the group to gather information, and during one of these excursions, he stumbles across Ben Gunn, a former pirate who was marooned on the island years ago. Ben, desperate for food and company, strikes a deal with Jim. He'll help Jim and the good crew if they promise to take him off the island. Ben also reveals that he knows where the treasure is buried. Armed with new knowledge, Jim hurries back to warn his friends. But when he returns to the camp, he finds the situation has already turned hostile. The pirates, led by Long John Silver, launch their attack, and a fierce battle breaks out. Jim, however, is able to rally his group and, with help from Ben Gunn, they manage to hold their ground. The battle for the treasure continues, with both sides suffering casualties. Long John Silver tries to manipulate the situation, offering to make a deal with Jim and his friends in exchange for their lives. But Jim and the others hold firm, refusing to give in to the pirates. With Silver's crew losing their advantage, Jim and his group launch a final counterattack. In the end, Silver and his pirates are defeated. The loyal crew, with the help of Ben Gunn, find the treasure chest buried deep in the island. The chest is filled with gold coins, jewels, and other riches, just as the map promised. Jim is thrilled by the discovery, but he also realizes that the adventure has come at a great cost. Many lives were lost, and Jim reflects on the greed and treachery that led to so much bloodshed. Long John Silver, though captured, manages to escape with some of the treasure, disappearing into the jungle. Jim and the others, having claimed the bulk of the treasure, return to the Hispaniola and set sail back home. Jim reflects on his journey, the lessons he learned about trust, loyalty, and the dangers of greed. The treasure, now in the hands of the good crew, will change their lives forever, but Jim knows that the true value of his adventure lies not in the gold, but in the lessons learned along the way. The end.